Alright, so got someone here called June, and they are a former RevZilla patron and
Yeah.
fan, obviously. Uh, Former fan. And they're going to talk about their experiences with him and the community as a whole. And yeah, I guess I should ask, or start by asking, sorry. So, how did you find RevZilla?
So it's actually a bit of like a story. I was watching Masked Babe, and she
Ah,
did a coverage of Edwin's generation's whole debacle with Seer and Dasha,
yeah,
and through that I found Repzilla's coverage, and I was just trying to find out more information about what happened to Mina and Edwin because it was a really interesting story. I mean, it wasn't a story about like what happened to them was really weird. And I was like, is this still happening to them? And what I found out was that RevZilla was not covering like something new. It was however, and I watched some more of his stuff. I got into his content, and I decided after a little while to become a patron. I think what really kind of hooked me into wanting to give him money was sort of like, he talked about his brain injury and how he was trying to like become a public speaker, and I was like, sounds like someone who might do some.
yeah,
Um, I think where things may have gone off the chains are like when you join the page, you kind of. I mean, I don't think you expect your favorite YouTuber to be there all the time. They're of course busy with like their own life. I think you expect a bit of if they're online all the time, which he was. You'd think that they'd pop into the chat every so often.
yeah.
And so I stayed. I was there from February up until maybe mid March when everything sort of blew up with the Prim Ink, you, and Leaf.
Yeah. I actually made a little bit of a video about the Sia and Dasher thing back then. Um, do you know about the whole Edwin Repzilla thing?
I do not. Um, Personally, I thought that they were just good friends or acquaintances.
Yeah. Uh,
However, like the more I watched his stuff, the less any references of Edwin. So I was a little like, that's weird. Okay.
yeah. For a while, I think they like kind of bounced off each other.
I definitely think that I like Edwin personally. I think Edwin's a cool dude.
Okay.
Um,
Don't get me started on Edwin.
um, I think that I mean, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
it's more how I found them, how I found everyone, and I think because the commentary community is just blooming, and now there's more things to talk about. It's very odd because people will get like very like stuck into like, oh, this person's the best, and then they won't move from that and they won't like see other sides. But that's what the commentary community in YouTube is. It's
So
disgusting.
so essentially tunnel vision.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will admit that for a bit I had tunnel vision when it came to RevZilla.
Okay. So did
There's
I.
there's no denying that. I think that we both did. I think that he's very good at talking to people and making people feel comfortable. Like, even in the short conversations that I've had with him.
Yeah.
Where I think that, and I was pretty involved in the community as far as, like, being in the Discord every day. Like, even when I was at school, you know, if I was, like, having a lull in class, it was break, I'd be on my phone talking to everyone. At lunch, at college, I'd be on my phone typing. You know, on the way to school, I'd be on my phone on the Discord. Like, when I got home, I'd be talking. I'd go to bed. Right before bed, I'd be in the Discord. Like, I was there.
Yeah, you were there when I joined, or when I went in?
Yeah. And personally, like, when you joined, I definitely felt a bit of hostility. However, I was also very curious to just hear what happened, because Rep was very guarded when we tried to ask questions about what happened. He was like, oh, it's in the past. And what confused me when he said that was, then why did you bring it up?
Yeah.
Why would you bring something up that's in the past? And, like, I think one of the main reasons that he brought it up is because you genuinely said congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. He was like, oh, you know, that Marsii person, like, said congratulations. I was like, who's Marsii? He's like, oh, you don't know about Marsii? Let me tell you guys about Marsii. And I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't very compassionate of you.
Do you know about the conversation that went down when I congratulated him?
From what he said, like, to paraphrase, it was more like, I burnt this bridge, you really hurt me, don't ever contact me again.
Kind of, he was basically like, so the day he hit 100,000 was the day that my channel got terminated, interestingly enough. And so I congratulated him on 100,000, and he basically turned around to me and said that that I was crawling back now that my channel was gone, the channel that he helped make or grow or whatever, and
See,
all this stuff.
and as a person, like, and that's where, like, the tunnel vision started to, like, dissipate for me. Because as he was saying this, I was like, wait. You're the person who told us not to be hateful and to forgive people who have hurt us and all this positive stuff. And yet, here you are saying that this person will hurt you. And yet, you're being very angry in your words and quite arrogant in what you're saying.
Yeah. That's
And that was
interesting.
the first moment of doubt that I had.
Yeah. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that. I think that there were a bunch of people, and I think there still is a bunch of people that simply won't look further into it because Rep doesn't want them to.
And I very much agree with that.
Which is unfortunate for them,
It
really.
is. It really is. I can't, like, name names because, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do anything to anyone. However, I know personally, like, when you left or when you got kicked out of the server,
Yeah.
we were told you left. And that contradiction right there is something where information is not being told.
Well,
and right after that happened, I contacted you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I genuinely wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah. And so Rep has stated on Twitter that that you get 3 warnings and you go on or whatever. I was flat out gone.
Yeah, and see, that's very odd because, he'll be like, I have my list of values. One's compassion, forgiveness, and all this. And yes, I understand if someone hurts you over and over and over again, you have to cut ties. However, the way he speaks about these people is cold and not very compassionate.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
Yeah. Did you... Oh, I was going to say, did you see his video the other day? But do you still watch him?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I try to avoid watching him because I find that
You find holes
his
in...
content... His content isn't the same anymore. I find that since sort of seeing behind the curtain, everything that, like, I tried to watch another one of his videos, like, where he was like, oh yeah, I made my own drive, and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. He's like, I'm a victim of cancel culture. I was like, no. No, this is not what's happening.
That drive is odd. I mean...
I couldn't even look at it because, like, it felt like a punch to the gut in a sense. I felt like he could have taken accountability. He could have said all these things, and instead he shouted out a bunch of nonsense in this sense. Like, it was really hard for me. I remember the day I left was the day that he posted that after the priming video.
The 3-minute one?
No, it was on Twitter where he said, I know that I've made mistakes.
Oh, okay.
The funny thing was that exact apology, word for word, is like he copied, I'm pretty sure he did copy into the Discord. That was like a place for him to actually talk to his fans one-on-one, sort of be more human with us. And that's sort of what that area was for, to make him seem more relatable, less like, a YouTuber who we could never relate to.
Yeah. Well, so when stuff went down last year, I'm not sure if you know this, but there's a video that's online. It's not mine. It's someone else's. But Rev actually made, I think, a couple of statements like towards me or about me when all that went down. But I was going to say, as you'll see, but you're not in there, and neither am I. But before the priming video, I don't know how long before. I don't know if it was just purely coincidental, but he deleted it.
As far as those comments, what I understood what was happening, I didn't know that Priming was making a video until, like, I think 2 weeks beforehand or something, when you joined the Discord. But what I understood it was, the Discord was just being like, they were doing some changes, they were changing things up, they were adding new bots, they were cleaning things up.
Yeah.
And, to an unsuspecting fan who doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes, that makes sense. Like, you know, maybe, like, senior management, like, at a company, maybe senior management thinks that it's, like, time to get rid of the old stuff and make everything look. However, if, like, you're the FBI that's looking into this company for, like, tax evasion, then cleaning everything up looks a little weird.
Yeah. And, like, so he reached out to me the day before Priming's video came out. I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself to my fans and to you, because do you know that he reached out to me?
I did not.
and like he told me that like it wasn't to do with the video coming out and stuff, and that he just wanted to like talk to me or whatever. And so I was kind of like, well, I'd prefer it if we spoke after Primmink's video came out, because I don't want to like make things okay and then have that come out and you feel like I stabbed you in the back. We haven't DM'd since Primmink's video, so we spoke, and I'm pretty sure like I put all of those messages in a Google Drive, because he released some of them and like just kind of left out bits and pieces, you know, in a drive called Context Matters. But
Yeah.
and so so we basically spoke, and he was like, this whole thing has been like affecting my family and stuff, and I'm like, I understand, it's been affecting mine too, blah 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 blah. And then he ended that by saying, and this is our last message on Twitter today, which was just basically that he thinks moving forward that it would be best if I took down my videos about him.
Because, you know, he speaks about YouTubers supporting other youth, and how he thinks that it's wrong for YouTubers to like abuse the copyright system and all this stuff. However, he basically bullied into doing whatever he wanted, and
but it didn't happen. I didn't take down anything.
It's good, and
yeah, I almost feel like part of that was because then like people wouldn't be able to find maybe Primmink's like reference material, or it would stop me growing off the back of it or whatever, like, and that is most certainly not the first time at all that he had told me that, oh, I think it would be best if you like remove your videos about me. Like, we collaborated, was it November last year, I think? Well, like, I gave him a whole bunch of information for a video, and he even referenced me, which is bizarre for someone that he said stalked him. But, anyway, and so...
you gave him information last November?
Yeah, for a video about Borns, yeah.
That's so interesting, because he said to us, like, as in a voice chat, that he hadn't had contact with you since last May, when the whole thing happened.
Okay. I mean, I can send you screenshots.
I believe you. It's more like...
I'm pretty sure... Well, he actually mentioned, I think, maybe in his 40-minute video, that we had collaborated in November. And he was trying to use that against me, like, oh, well, there's someone that I thought was so bad, why would I reach out for a collaboration? I did say to him... Is it okay if I continue real quick?
Oh, yeah.
So, I did say to him in that last section of messages the day before Primmink's video came out that I thought after my initial video that I made on him, I thought we'd still be friends. And that I probably, looking back, I probably shouldn't have made the video. And I admit that, but that doesn't just excuse what he did to me, you know? But he's just like, oh, well, look, he's sorry that he made the video. That makes everything okay, you know?
I've never felt so confused by a person. Well, I have, and at the same time, in disbelief, because the person that, like, I once supported, I don't know, I think, yes, I would have to say trusted. Like, saying these words is really hard for me now, because I kind of feel ashamed to say I trusted this person.
Yeah, well...
Because it makes me feel silly.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I got and still have his first ever merch, which was Greg Illuminati socks. I still have them.
Yeah. I bet you that feels odd to have.
Well, I can't actually see them. Like, I know where they are, but they're covered up. They're like hung up, but they have like hoodies over them.
And the point of talking to you and doing all this is to say that when he made that apology, it should have been more real, like not just something that he typed out and then copy and pasted from every platform that he could have. It shouldn't have been the same one that he put on to Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. You know, I feel like he should have apologized to Leaf. He should apologize to you. And also, I feel like he should have apologized to his fan base because in some ways he used us. Like,
Yeah.
with what he did in the Patreon chat, he basically dragged us into this by giving us this information. Like, I feel like what did he want us, like, the next morning, of course, he deleted them, but he left them up long enough for us to probably take screenshots. I didn't cover, like, what did he want us to do with this information?
I guess in a way maybe he was like, oh well, you paid me money, so like here's special access, you know.
Yeah, I get that, and at the same time, I would much rather he stuck to the Patreon perks than.
So actually, what were they?
The Patreon perks were, I actually have them.
Okay.
Or had them pulled up because I wanted to also talk about that.
By the way, I've never supported anyone on Patreon, so I don't know how it works, and I guess I'm curious about if he actually stuck to it or not. I guess it depends on the amount you pay, but you don't have to disclose that. I don't expect you to disclose that.
That's interesting. Because the Patreon perks for the $10, which is what I was doing, was behind the scenes Snapchats, pics, and vids. I'll try to add you within 24 hours. Live Q&As, monthly Patreon live streams, and plus all previous rewards, which were monthly coupon codes and discounts on Rep and Greg gear, early access to new content, first access to Rep Squad event only, access to the classified only Discord area, and access to confidential Patreon only feed. Now, from personal experience, I was never added on Snapchat. I do not remember ever being in a Q&A. I don't remember ever being in a Patreon only live. And that was for the $10. Those were the three things for the $10. And yet, I don't remember a single time that any of that happened.
So, do you think that's a scam at all, or?
Now, I don't know, like, because, like, he could have, like, added, you know, other people to his Snapchat, or he's gotten better with the live too. However, from personal experience, with my experience, he never, like, reached out and said, hey, you're a $10 Patreon. One of your perks is Snapchat. Like, give me your Snapchat so I can add you. We're also doing the Q&A this time. And here's when we're doing the monthly live Patreon, just for the Patreon. And what's really odd is that he says, you know, all I do all day is work on my channel and do all this stuff. And yet, wouldn't you have a schedule that's specific for when you have to do stuff for your patrons?
I feel like, honestly, that he tries to offer as much as he can, but I think he may know that he just can't. But he wants to offer it because he wants people to feel special or whatever, which is fine. I understand, but like, be within your limits, like, because
At least
these people
be
are paying,
honest.
you know.
Yeah. And as far as monthly coupon codes and discounts on Rep and Greg gear, never got one of those.
Did you ever buy any merch?
I did not, and I would if I probably had a monthly coupon. And that's because I'm on a tight,
Budget.
pension kind of penny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can say access to the classified only Discord area. That did happen. The confidential patron feud. Yep.
Well, that's kind of done by Patreon in a way.
Yeah. Early access to new content. I don't think, I don't remember him ever, saying to his patrons first, hey, I've released a new video, then waiting 5 minutes, then releasing it to the rest of the Discord. I remember him releasing it to the whole Discord together.
I don't like the idea personally of making something like that, oh, here you'll have early access to content or whatever. Like the thing that happened with Poppy. I don't know if you followed Poppy at all, but she has a new thing on her website where you can have silver seed status, which means you get early access to videos. And so the first video that happened for, it came out 4 days after or something. That video got leaked straight away.
Yeah.
I almost feel like giving early access to fans is just kind of a written rule now, but I don't agree with it.
I feel like giving an early access should be something not content per se, but maybe if you're gonna have a live stream, maybe giving early access to the patrons first.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, or half an hour later, opening it up to the rest.
Yeah. There is something which I don't know why I'm mentioning it. I guess because you mentioned merch, but I actually he ran past me some early merch designs or logos or whatever and stuff, and they were interesting. I'm not sure what he did and didn't use or whatever, but yeah, that's how I suppose close we were or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And he asked me or was wanting me to kind of help him with the series with Greg. He wanted me to help him write it or whatever. And then he turned around to me and said something. It was last year that I prefer it if you stop telling your fans that we had some kind of close friendship or something like that. I'm like, what? Seriously? We collabed.
It's so odd.
Yeah.
Because the way that he described your relationship was oh, I was just helping him. There's no big deal. That's the same thing that he said about the rewired soul. He was I don't know much about this dude. Well, people are coming into the Discord saying you have to stop talking to this person. This person isn't good. And I think that it's interesting how he can do that.
Yeah, another interesting element, and there are definitely things that that we're going to talk about in this, and that I very much want to talk about and stuff. But his whole thing about me leaking family photos or whatever, or private photos or whatever, and that was based off because someone told him, right? Now, not only do I have an issue with that because it's not confirmed, A, didn't happen, but B, if someone tells you this, he never well, from what I remember, he never asked me if I did. I think it might have asked me on in like voice chat in Discord or something, to which I denied because obviously didn't happen. And so, but then after that, after like you'd think he would have learned his lesson. Someone told him to. Have you seen the name KL around?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone told him that KL was me, and so he was going around saying that KL was me, and I was essentially harassing him with an alternative account. KL is not me. Yes, I know KL, but KL is not me. Like, surely after the first instance of someone telling you something and it being completely wrong, why would you then go and do it again?
It's more the idea that there are some things that present themselves in certain ways, and then there's some things that, like, documented, and then there's some things that are a little bit weird that he does. Like my cousin who has the brain injury, like, there's just some things that she can't do anymore.
Yeah.
And there are some things that he just can't do anymore. However, you know, that doesn't prevent her from knowing right from wrong.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what bothers me about what he does. Because, like, you know, he'll be like, I have extreme PTSD and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like, so do a lot of other people. I have extreme PTSD, you know. It sucks. However,
yeah,
it doesn't mean that, you know, if I were to stick my hand on a hot burner, I'm going to forget that a burner is hot.
Yeah.
So if someone tells you that's like, someone told him KO is not Marsii, I don't understand why he would do it again and again and again, unless it fits his narrative to make it seem like everyone is against him and he's paranoid.
Yeah. When we used to talk on Facebook and stuff, like we were good, and like he was very much, to me, he presented himself as kind of the guy in the videos. Just obviously a bit different because there's differences in how you type as to how you speak and stuff, and then there was like, well, here's how he goes about his business, rah rah rah. It's fine, but like the other side, like the one extreme to the other, is just something.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, you know, you were friends with him, but and I was like a supporter and a Patreon, and in it, like we spoke about this on Twitter. In a sense, we both experienced the loss. In the sense, it was amazing how he just did like a 180, and it's not the same person.
Except somehow it is. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So my whole thing with my initial video, and by the way, that initial video is in the Google Drive, and so is my like apology or whatever. And the reason why that is there, and by the way, that's not edited at all. That's still the original file. Is because, and like, I think he said something in his video about like, oh, it's nice. It seems like he edited it or something like that. Was that like, I'm not hiding that original video. He claims that it doxed him or whatever. Like, A, I don't think it did, but B, I think it's important on my part that I re-upload that initial video, not to like dox him or anything, but for other people to actually get the full context and see the video and then make up their own mind about what happened. And sure, if you think I doxed him, then then I'm the bad guy. Fair enough. I'll admit that, it's not like I'm trying to hide my actions or anything, but like he
Um,
he like, as I said, deleted his statement and stuff towards me. Yes.
I think, like, I've watched the video, and I don't believe it was doxing. I could barely see the picture.
Low,
Like, I would,
low quality gang.
yeah. So, like, if I could barely see the picture, then it's very hard to see how it could be doxing. I mean, doxing would be, if someone was to be like, oh, John Smith lives at 123 Appleseed Road,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
However, if you genuinely look up RevZilla's real name, there's like a YouTube wiki on him.
Yeah.
It's his birthday and everything.
Famous birthdays as well.
And
he said it on Twitter himself.
And he's even told people in the Discord his real name.
Yeah.
And what I find really troubling about this is the fact that it's doxing if it suits his narrative. However, what he did to Mars Argo, not doxing. It's, reporting on the news. And he's not a journalist.
No.
He's just a guy with a camera like, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And like that, you have to respect the boundaries of other people.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it here or if it was somewhere else when we were talking before or whatever, but like about the whole, like, if he was talking to his stalker on Facebook, then they would like have his like Facebook link, for example. So they could save that, they could find him anyway, It's not like one picture is going to change that, And like I tried to blur it as well, like as soon as he told me or whatever. I tried to blur it, but it was too small for YouTube to recognize. Like it wasn't like I was deliberately like, oh.
I think there's a very big difference between doing something being malicious, like leaving something in there maliciously, and it being a genuine like mistake. And
yeah,
you made a genuine mistake. There was no malicious intent. He makes it seem like there was malicious intent.
Well, actually, something which I get confused about what we haven't spoken about, but so he did the same thing to me, right? Months prior.
Right. Oh yeah.
But he doesn't claim that he doxed me.
I mean, that is doxing. I remember we spoke about it and how he released your full name and everything, and you thankfully changed everything on Facebook.
Yeah, but that was recently. But like in late 2017, he showed my Facebook profile picture and our conversation without my permission, which I didn't crack up about because I was like, well, like to me that was kind of okay because I'm like, well, I don't think that like people can find me and stuff, it's just a Facebook profile picture,
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably a genuine mistake.
Yeah, well, I mean, he deliberately blurred my name so that I wasn't identifiable or whatever. I never showed his name in my video.
He did the same thing, and that's not doxing, which is very odd.
Yeah. But also in that same video, he initially credited me with my real name. Love it, especially considering he knew I had a YouTube channel. I feel like that was. I don't know if that was like a lapse of whatever, but I do actually, I don't actually have a screenshot of it being that way, but I do have a screenshot of me asking him to change it. So I do have proof that he credited me with my real name. And also, if you go back, he gave me a shout out under my real name as well, but I don't know what video it is, and I think that's probably the first time I've ever said that publicly, or maybe ever, because I feel like people could go back and just find me, you know?
Yeah, I think that it's not appropriate to claim that someone is doing something to you when you've done the exact same thing to someone else and not take accountability for your actions.
I think it's too late for him to apologize to me now, but I haven't gotten an apology. And I don't think it would mean much anymore, but I never got an apology for anything.
I think it's a bit too late for him to apologize to anyone. I think that he's, in his own words, he's stayed in his lane for way too long, and there's no turning back. And that's what's very saddening, because in a way he could have, turned this around and sort of been like, I messed up. I really, really messed up. And then I grew, I mended bridges, I did all. However, he couldn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the fall comes in, and why I really wanted to speak to you, to sort of shed the light on the fact that what he did to you, he's still doing
Oh, yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
And he had multiple chances to, actually go, you know what, like, I've done horrible things.
Yeah. So, like, sorry to cut you off. I feel bad, and I feel like people who are watching this are just gonna be like, let her speak. So I'm sorry about that. It's just, it's like the more you talk, the more I remember. So, just recently, my girlfriend came over and stayed for a week, and then like I was off social media for like that entire week, I think, pretty well. And then I come back, and then like a day later, Reps name dropped me in a tweet. Like I'm nowhere there, you know. Like,
and that's the thing. Like, we would have never been making this video. None of this, if I hadn't had questions whenever, like, when he brought up the Marsii incident.
oh, okay, that's what he called it. Yeah. So, as I said, there's still stuff I want to talk about. But so after we collaborated in November, right? I reached out to him. I don't know if these DMs are out there. I probably put them out there. Knowing me and the RevZilla situation. And I was like, I have an idea for a video, but I'm not sure if I can do it myself. Like, so I just kind of asked for assistance. So the video became Mars Argo meets Twitch, and so I went on Twitch, asked people if they knew about Mars Argo or whatever, and put together a compilation of introducing or asking people about Mars Argo. And so he turned around to me and he's like, and said something along the lines of, only if you take down your video, which at the time was, I think, speaking of RevZilla. So I was like, no, and so I did the video myself.
What's really interesting is that
he won't take down the stalker video.
Yes, and he also plays it off like you were like nothing, and yet he seems to keep coming back to you.
Yeah. I felt like he thought that I was an easy target, and I think before that I would have been.
Yeah.
But part of it is like, I mean, so not only, I mean, you've seen the video, but like, I've mentioned it to him on multiple occasions about the whole credit thing, and I know like someone was going off about me, I think yesterday, just being like, well, so all this is about credit, rah, 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 rah. And I'm like, that, like, I know that video started, but can we just, like, leave that out of it for a second? Like, okay, fair enough, that video maybe wasn't the best thing, right? I admit that. But it doesn't excuse his actions. Like Leaf now, like, deleting her channel doesn't excuse what he did to her. Like, it's not a get out of jail free card.
It is definitely not.
But he seems to think it is.
I don't know what else to say, because I left because of it. It makes me sad that he still continues.
You want to talk about, was it the Google Drive?
Oh no, I was just using it for references. Like,
okay.
you know.
So someone showed me something and I could never find it, but apparently he didn't make it himself.
Really?
Yeah, but I can't confirm that because I couldn't find it, but apparently there was like a document or something that said he had help from someone who I'm not going to name, but so I can't confirm that, but yeah, and also him saying that he had receipts or he'd been keeping receipts or whatever, those messages with me, he went and got them during that process, because when we first started talking, if he'd been keeping receipts, that wasn't my Facebook name when we first started talking. That profile picture was my current profile picture.
That's really odd.
So how can you say you're keeping receipts, you know? And same with, I think, the Twitter messages as well.
I have nothing, I don't know.
That's part of why I think it took him so long. It's because he was actually getting the receipts. I also found it odd about how, like, so you were there when him and I spoke in voice chat, were you?
Right.
Okay, so yeah, and so we spoke in voice chat. That was the night of, I think, or the day after Priming's video, and he like asked me for advice about like the apology and stuff, and I said that I wouldn't want to be him, and that like I just
I'm sorry.
and the
I don't think anyone would want to be him right now.
yeah, but like I mean like I said to him honestly, I'm like, no matter what you do, if people want to pick it apart, they'll pick it apart. Like that's how it is. Like, and like we were friendly and stuff. Like the whole thing about the video was that he was like, it was me like going against him, this, that, whatever. Now I know I've mentioned it and I sound like a broken record, but like as I said, like I thought we'd still be friends, and like I'd mentioned it to him, rah rah rah. But the whole thing is that friends don't just let friends do stuff. And I know that calling him out on a public platform probably wasn't the best idea, but I didn't know how else to get my point across. Friends don't just agree with everything you do. They try and make you a better person, you know?
That's exactly what a friend is. And
so, in that respect, I don't see how I was betraying him. Yes, it was public, sure, but like, I'd mentioned it privately on multiple occasions. It wasn't like I'd just been like getting receipts and just being like, bang, here's a video out of nowhere, you know?
I have no, like, I don't know what to say because I think he's just managed to disappoint a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, not, like also with Life of a Free Spirit, he, like, I remember the conversations that she was there for in the Discord and, like, how she was like, I've got your back, like, and, like, how he really hurt her and betrayed her trust. And
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
No. Actually, you have to go soon.
Yeah, no.
But I was going to ask you if there was anything that you wanted to discuss.
Oh, okay. So, something I haven't really spoken about publicly. It's like, oh, giving the exclusives. But, so, I'm not sure. So, I'm guessing you're under the impression that, that I should have left Rep behind long ago.
I believe that what you did was being a good person and you were trying to be a good friend. I think that what you did was very apt, and he abused that trust.
Okay, but so have I told you why I haven't just abandoned him?
No.
Okay, so I met my girlfriend through him. So I guess I was gonna say I feel a responsibility, but I don't think that's the word. It's just like
Gratitude?
I'm not sure. I almost feel like not talking to him would be more disrespectful to her. She was there during the whole original video and all that process and stuff, and she was a channel member of his.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's well and truly sick of me mentioning it. There's things that he's said, either to me in messages or publicly or whatever, that I think can be debunked. I know it's not the best idea to just make videos about him,
Yeah.
But
I think.
Yeah.
I think that in a part of way, this feeds him, like he's like, look, like people still care about what I do.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess my main thing is maybe accountability. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely understand.
So, is there anything?
Not on my end.
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
June.
Thank you for having me.
That's alright. I'll keep in contact with you on Twitter, and who knows, we might do this again sometime.
Okay.
And yeah, thanks for reaching out and talking about all this stuff and that. It's
Thank you.
It's definitely
same on my end.
Yeah, it's definitely a perspective I didn't have because I wasn't a patron or anything. So
Thank you.
That helps bring perspective. No worries, anytime.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye.